we're going to be looking at a new type of Fortnite creative game that I'm making. This is inspired a lot by Halo 3 ODST Firefight. Now, I don't really like Halo Reaches that much, something about it just puts me off, but Halo 3 ODST, I like the challenge, I like the use of the weapons you can use, and the overall sandbox, which is what we're looking at today. Because I don't think there's many games in Fortnite Creative that go like, the player could use this, or the player could use that if a weapon is to as a sniper, if they don't have enough coins to get the sniper, or I could use this weapon as a defensive weapon. I don't see many games trying to implement that. They normally just go like this. Yeah, 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 sure. Why the hell not? And then they just add into vending machines. Of course, there's a little bit of thinking when people do put in, but not much. But today I'm gonna be showing you how you could use weapons to in your game to make a more immersive experience instead of just adding loads of different variants of the same weapon at a higher rarity at a higher cost in vending machines, or just do anything like that. I'm gonna show you what you should really do. So probably the most obvious thing you want to put into your maps is the flintlock pistol. It's great mobility and can be used to damage enemies when they're low. You can kill them with it, but it's not meant to be a weapon you can kill with. A little bit like some of Halo's weapons in the sandbox. You could put in the SMG as a weapon that like the assault rifle from Halo, where it just mows down loads of enemies. And then when they jeez, my voice is really croaky. I am sorry about that. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, you could use the assault rifle as a good close to medium range weapon, but then make it so they have to use. But I wouldn't recommend using the automatic. I would just recommend this because it's more effective at medium to close range, when this is effective at all ranges. So then it makes a use from the snipers to be involved instead of just being beamed. And unless you're good with the assault rifle. So yeah, that's one of the many like key elements, is thinking how do other weapons play into the game. If they have nothing to do with it, then the gameplay isn't going to be so much interesting. Sometimes there just needs to be a good utility weapon that they can use to get a job done, or a really effective weapon. Like, you could use this as a defensive weapon in like capture the flag game modes if you wanted to, and it's only in capture the flag. And let's say if you have different maps and like game modes somehow, I don't know how. But then you change it to a pump shotgun for when you make like an assault map, when you have to try and like grab an objective. So there's loads of weapons you can use. I just want you to think to yourself, what weapons will work in what scenarios, and how does each weapon go into the sandbox? Do all of the weapons have a role of some type? Because if they don't all have a role, then I would recommend changing that. But if at least most of them have a role, then that's perfectly fine. Obviously, some people pick up more weapons that they like than the previous one, but yeah, that's up to them. If they don't want to use a weapon how it should be used, they possibly would be punished for trying to use that weapon against the role it's meant to be for. like the drum shotgun. If you go and attack with it, you'll just get beamed down by like an assault rifle or the snipers. So yeah, this is just a really basic thing I wanted to show you. Is that there's not many creative games that also, if you're gonna make like a zombie defense game, which is what we're going to be looking at in this mini series, because the series I'm doing right now, not as on this video, but the previous video, the last two videos have been about all my videos so far have just been about that one series about making a Death Run map and implementing new stuff and how it works. We'll soon get to channels because I know a lot of you probably know what all of these do, but you just don't know how to use them to its fullest potential. I'm gonna be honest, I'm no creative expert, okay? I'm just somewhat good at it. But I don't know all of the devices' capabilities, but yeah, I'll try and help as much as I can. And yeah, if you wanted to in a battle royale, I would argue this weapon has to be added into battle royale because then it adds a new layer of skill of having to land that headshot or body shot to be able to kill somebody with it and have it being so satisfying because of the sound it makes and how it just goes through the opponent and does 300 and something to their face. It's just satisfying, and also it could destroy builds. So I'd recommend putting this in the battle royale map because it's a great utility weapon. How it can break down builds, but also there's a layer of skill that you have to learn how to actually line up and shoot the opponent. I know you could say that about any sniper, but this one in particular, because when you try to no-scope with it, it's probably the most inaccurate weapon to do with. You could use the boom bow as a great weapon in mid to long range, but you can get yourself killed if you're way too close because of the explosion radius. And you want the player to start thinking about how they use these weapons to their advantage. And then that's just the weapons. Don't forget you can add in shield pots, truck slashes, band bazookas, shield bubbles, impulse grenades, chiller grenades, porta fortress. There's all these great consumables, and like you could use this in a defensive way, or if you're really good at it, a very pushing against the opponent, right? You could probably make that a thing where you can be you could use all these, okay? That just adds a new layer to the strats. And then if you wanted to make a brave defense zombie game mode, don't forget these, okay? Damage traps, sentries. Okay, let's talk about them quickly. Why the hell do sentries shoot you or just not shoot you? That's so boring. They should make it so it moves or at least shoots zombies. Because do you not know how creative the player could get if they did that? It would be so interesting. Like you could have you could have a death run level where you have to kill the zombie, but the sentry has really good accuracy, and he keeps on killing it, and it's one tap to the not sentry, the zombie, and the sentry's invulnerable. You could use the speed boost somehow. You could use launch pads to as mobility and move around. You can use all of you can use all of these. You can use traps, weapons, and consumables. Arguably, the golden triangle for Fortnite's gameplay loop. It has been obviously broken at the trap part. It used to be perfect when the damage trap and poison dart trap were in the game, and there was a lot of weapons to use, and also there was a fair amount of these you could use. So really, it's kind of like a golden triangle, just like Halo's. Um, I'm not saying in a bad way. I actually like Halo. I freaking have. I have got. I've only started to really get into it. Not just like really recently, like 2 years ago, recently, roughly. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Um, yeah, just try to use these weapons to your advantage. That's all I have to say. Okay. Also, don't forget to